जय ओम विष्णुपाद परिहंसकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी शीला प्रभुपाद की, इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य शीला प्रभुपाद की, नमाचार्य शीला हरिदास ठाकुर की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद भागवतम की. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Good morning. Welcome to the daily Bhagavatam class. So today we are reading Canto 3, Chapter 18, the battle between Lord Boar and Hiranyaksha, and the text 3. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, let's read the words. Ahainame ajna mahim vimunchano. Rasaukasam vishva srijeyamarpita. Nasvasti yasyasyanaya mamekshata. Suradamasadita sukarakrute. Adhainamehi ajñamahim vimunchano. Rasaukasam vishva srijeyamarpita. Nasvasti yasyasya anaya mamekshata. Suradamasadita sukarakrute. Ahainame ajñamahim vimunchano. Rasaukasam vishva srijeyamarpita. Nasvasti yasyasya anaya mamekshata. Suradamasadita sukara akrute. Prabhuji. Ahe. Nasvasti yasyasya anaya mamekshita. Sudadamasadita sukara akrute. Ahiname yajñamahim vimunchano. Rasaukasam vishva srijeyamarpita. Nasvasti yasyasya anaya mamekshita. Suradamadita sukara akrute. You want to read from? Okay. So word to word translation. Aha, Hiranyaksha said, aha, aha, aha. Hiranyaksha said, Enam, to the Lord. Come and fight. Ajna, O fool. Mahim, the earth. Vimuncha, give up. Na, to us. Rasa Oksham, of the inhabitants of lower regions. Vishwasrija, by the creator of the universe. Iyam, this earth. Arpita, entrusted. Na, not. Swasti, well-being. Yasyasi, you will go. Anaya, with this. Mama Ikshita, while I am seeing. Suradama, O lowest of the demigods. Asadita, having taken. Sukara Akrite, the form of a boar. Okay, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation, please repeat with me. The demon addressed the Lord, O best of the demigods, dressed in the form of a boar. Just hear me. This earth is entrusted to us, the inhabitants of the lower regions, and you cannot take it from my presence and not be hurt by me. Purport. Sridhara Swami, commenting on this verse, states that although the demon wanted to deride the personality of Godhead in the form of a boar, actually he worshipped him in several words. For example, he addressed him as Vanagochara, which means one who is a resident of the forest. But another meaning of Vanagochara is one who lies on the water. Vishnu lies on water, so the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be properly addressed in this way. The demon also addressed him as a Mruga, indicating unintentionally that the Supreme Personality is sought after by great sages, saintly persons and transcendentalists. He also addressed him as Ajna. Sridhara Swami says that Jna means knowledge, and there is no knowledge which is unknown to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Indirectly, therefore, the demon said that Vishnu knows everything. The demon addressed him as a Suradama. Sura means the demigods, and Adama means the Lord of all there is. He is the Lord of all the demigods, therefore he is the best of all demigods of God. When the demon used the phrase in my presence, the implied meaning was, in spite of my presence, you are completely able to take away the earth. Na swasti yasyasi. Unless you kindly take this earth from our custody, there can be no good fortune for us. Let's recite Mangalacharan. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tattakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwar Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today's verse, it's We already read the translation. Let me read the translation one more time. The demon addressed the Lord, O best of the demigods, dressed in the form of a boar, just hear me. This earth is entrusted to us in the inhabitants of lower region, and you cannot take it from my presence and not be hurt by me. So the translation, if you see, here the Hiranyaksha is blaspheming the Lord, and the purport, the Prabhupada gave the Sridhara Swami comments, which is opposite, the glorifying the Lord. So before jumping on to this verse, just which connect to the previous verses what we read, just we'll recap and then we'll move into this verse. So in the past we read about Hiranyaksha. In the last chapter, 17th chapter, we heard how Hiranyaksha came to the material world. When he entered into the womb of Diti, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, the whole atmosphere became dark. And while he is taking the birth, all the inauspicious things happened in the material world, like earthquake, fire, water, everything. And then later, after taking the birth, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, what they were trying? They were trying to increase their energy and increase the power. Why? By increasing their power and all the possessions, they wanted to control all the universe. That is their intention. They are not surrendering to the Lord. They think that they can control everything. They are the controller. So they are trying to get all the energy and possessions so to conquer the universe. In the same regard, and they started going all the various planets and trying to fight with everyone and defeat those various demigods. So in the same way, they visited Varuna. And Varuna, he understood, he knows his position. He's very old and he's not able to fight with Hiranyaksha. So he said, I am not qualified enough, I don't have enough power to fight with you. So you go and fight with Vishnu. So he also indicated that Vishnu is the only person he can fight with you and he can kill you and your body will be the food for vultures and other animals. But Hiranyaksha ignored those warnings. Now, with the help of Narada, he identified Vishnu and he started challenging Vishnu. This is the verse. Yesterday also Prabhu was telling how the Hiranyaksha was blaspheming the Vishnu. So it is continuing. He's about to start the fight. Before starting the fight, he started challenging. We see in the material world also, nobody will directly go and attack. They will start criticizing you. So they will get anger, the passion mode, and then you will start fighting, right? The same way Hiranyaksha started blaspheming them. So if you see the difference between the demigod and again we can see a little bit on the comparison of the demigods and the demons. So the Varuna, he knows very well. He is Supreme Lord Vishnu is there. He is the controller. He can fight with him. That's why he cannot fight with Hiranyaksha. He straight away, he went back. But and he gave the warning to Hiranyaksha as well. But Hiranyaksha, the demon quality, he is a pride, arrogant, ignorant, all the qualities covering, and he is not able to see the Lord Vishnu. He is not understanding that he is a supreme controller, and he went to fight with him. In the material world also, we see many people, like in day-to-day, many people think that if you see Rama and Krishna, some people think that they are like our normal human beings. Just they got some extra power. Many people think that they are only just normal human beings. They have some extra power. They are not gods, right? So why they see the human body, like they also having when they are descendant onto earth, they will have a same human body form like us. And they think that they are normal human beings just with extra power. Some people still think that. And it's not only human being. If you see Brahma, Lord Brahma, we see Brahma Vimohan Leela. He also got bewildered. He could not understand. A small boy, he thought, okay, he cannot be Lord Supreme Lord. What he was doing? He was taking with the left hand, he was eating with not a proper, it's a muchi, not a proper hand, with a juta hand. He's taking the food from other gopas and eating. By seeing these activities, Brahma thought, this boy cannot be Supreme Lord. That's where he started testing. And all the Brahma Vimohan Leela past tense we know. We are not going into the details. So, Brahma also sometimes, he got bewildered. He could not understand the boy later after the pastime, he realized, and that is a different pastime. Same thing with Indra as well. Like, he thought that this boy cannot be Krishna, and he said Samvartaka clouds, and he tried to destroy Vrindavan. And then he lifted Govardhan and he did the pastime. Later, Indra realized that yes, he is a supreme lord. So, but in the case of demigods, they realized it. That yeah, this is the supreme lord, he is Vishnu. But in case of demons, like if you see Hiranyaksha, he is not in a position to understand he is a... Of course, it's a pastime, all again Vishnu organized this pastime, but he is not able to understand. So, in this regard, I would like to remember the words from Kunti Maharani prayers. Like in first canto, 8th chapter, the Kunti Maharani was saying, Janma karma cha vishwatma ajasya karturatmana tiryan nishi yaddashu tadatyanta vidambanam. The vidambanam means bewildering, the most atyanta vidambanam, the most bewildering. Kunti Maharani is saying, the pastimes, Krishna's pastimes, when you try to understand Krishna's birth, Krishna's activities, it will be bewildering. Why? Janma karma cha vishwatma. He takes birth, like we see in the earth planet, he descended as Krishna, Rama, Narsingadev, right? He takes birth as various forms. And Matsyavatara, in this pastime, Varaha. So he takes various forms. And Karta, he does some activities, prescribed duties. But at the same time, in the next line, Ajasya, Krishna is unborn. He takes birth in the material world, but he is unborn. And at the same time, Akartur, he doesn't do any activities. So, and when he takes birth, he will Tiryan Nishi Yaddashu. Tiryan means animal. Nrum means human being. Rishi, sages. Yaddashu means aquatic, like the Matsyavatara. So, what it means, summary is, Krishna doesn't take birth, he is unborn. In the spiritual world, he is unborn, means he is the first person. If you see like Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Paramakrishna Sachitananda Vigraha Anadir Adi Govinda Sarvakarana Karana. Anadi, he is the oldest and Adi. Right? He is the first one. So, so in general material context, when we see if the person takes birth, he will have a parents. Right? So, but in this case, he is Adi. He is the first person. So, he is exists and he is Anadi Adir Govinda. He was there forever. So, that way, he is unborn. He is unborn and Ajasya. He doesn't do any work. How he does all the work? Because he is a creator of material and spiritual world. How he does all his work? He does all the work through his energies. Spiritual energy, external energy, marginal energy, internal energy. All these energies he does. And so and when he descends as a Matsyavatara, normal human being, Rama, Varaha, and sages, Narana and Rashi. These are some of the examples mentioned in the... So, when people understand this, it's very difficult to understand, perceive the meaning, understand how Krishna does all these things. We cannot understand Krishna in these kind of things will bewilder normal people. Of course, devotees will have understanding. When we read with the senior Vaishnavas, we understand the internal meaning of this, what is unborn, how he does work, how he takes birth, how all those things we can understand. But for the normal devotee people, it's bewildering. So same thing, like they don't understand, even if Krishna, like in case of Hiranyaksha, Vishnu is right in front of him, but he is not able to recognize as a supreme lord. Right? These are all the materialistic people bewildered with these things. They don't take it as a supreme lord Vishnu. So, and only devotees can understand these things properly. Now, yesterday Prabhu was telling in the same line, what we, in order to see the Vishnu, in order to see the Krishna, we need to do service. And when we do the service, Krishna reveals the knowledge. How we can understand this? Let's say, if you have a person, if you know person, if you wanted to find some details about a person, what are the different ways? Either you can explore on your own, or you approach him directly. If you explore on your own, what you will do? You will try to contact his friends, and you try to get some details from his friend. Or if he is some celebrity, you will look in Google and you search for the information. Based on the various information, you will try to speculate. Okay, this is the guy, he does these things, this is the past history, this is currently what he is doing, and what is his future. Like this, you get some information. But other option is, this cannot be correct. Whatever way, through various sources, it's our speculation. This may not be exactly correct. What is the other option? Other option is directly approaching the person and asking. If some unknown person comes and asks me about me, will I reveal him everything? No. We will not be able to tell anything because we don't trust him. Well, who is that person? Why he is asking, right? Same way, if you Krishna, if you want to know Krishna, if you want to understand Krishna, we have to approach him. Even if a new person comes to me and asks, I will not tell. And what? He has to establish relation with me. He has to satisfy me. He has to please me. We should have a mutual connection. Then only I will speak everything to him. Same way, Krishna does. When we wanted to understand about Krishna, when we wanted to know about Krishna, we have to do the service, loving service to Krishna. Then when he satisfies, when he understands that, yes, he is the right person, he is my devotee, he is trying to connect to me. When Krishna gets that confidence, then he starts revealing the knowledge. When he reveals the knowledge, when you see Krishna, wherever Krishna is there, you will be able to understand him. If he is right in front of you or somewhere else, yes, you will always thinking about Krishna, you will have a faith on Krishna, you will have a conviction about Krishna. So, and these things will happen. How? That's what in the Chatusloki Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogantam yena mami upayantite. So, when you do devotional service, bhajatam pritipurvakam, when you do loving devotional service, he will reveal the knowledge about him to the Lord. So, that is what. So, the materialistic people, demonic people, they don't have this access information and they keep on speculating. And if Krishna is there right in front of you, they are not able to recognize. Whereas the devotees, they have the option to understand. So, even another misconception is, like as I mentioned earlier, the body, like when Krishna and Rama descended to the earth, they look like normal human beings, right? So they will have 2 hands, 2 legs, like they'll exactly like a material body. The way we have a material body, they will also look like a material body. But how we differentiate? Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, the verse, chapter 4, text 6. So what he's saying, Ajopisan avyatma bhutanam ishvaropisan prakutam swam adhishtaya sambhavami atma maya. So the translation I will read. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So what Krishna is saying, if you see our human body is made up of material elements. It is earth, water, fire, air, ether, right? And these are the physical elements, and mind, intelligence, and false ego, these are the subtle elements. That is how our human body is made up of. Same way, but when Krishna and Rama descend on material on earth planet, they will not be having the same, like, though look-wise you may see same, but his body is transcendental. Because if again we see Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Paramakrishna, Satchitananda Vigraha. His body is Sat, Chit and Ananda. Sat means eternal, Chit, full of knowledge, Ananda means bliss. This is Satchitananda Vigraha. His body is made up of all this Satchitananda Vigraha. So, if Krishna descends onto the earth, though even physically you may look like a material human being, but his body is always transcendental. The body which he was possessing in the eternal spiritual Vaikuntha, the same body is in the material world. Though it looks like 2 hands, 2 legs, like same as a human form, it's a transcendental. Like our human body deteriorates, as our age increases, our body deteriorates. But Krishna is always, like if you see always like a youth, young 16 years old boy. His body is transcendental. His body, even though he appears on the earth during the Mahabharata war, he was looking like a 16 years, but his age was around 125 years. Right? So his body doesn't change. Though he appears on the material planet, but his body is transcendental, made up of Satchitananda Vigraha, it doesn't deteriorate. These are all the informations demonic people and some of the materialistic people, they don't have. Because of these things, lack of this knowledge, they will think that they are human beings with some extra energy. So, but our body, like we don't know, because we were taking millions of births, repeated birth and death, we don't know what body we were in previous birth and what form we are going to take in the future. But Krishna doesn't have all those rules. His body is always transient, wherever he goes. If he takes, now he's in this chapter, we are seeing the boar. Even though in the material, we understand it as we see the material boar and we compare with the boar. But his body is here also, it's a transcendental. When he takes birth as aquatic Matsyavatara, still he is a transcendental, same Sachidananda. It's not a material body. This understanding where demonic people don't have. That is why they always bewilder. Even if Krishna is there in front of you, they don't recognize. So this is the just brief understanding about the materialistic people and the demonic people, because I thought it is relevant to this verse, because Hiranyaksha is not able to recognize Vishnu as a supreme lord, and we try to give brief information about this. And the next one, we will coming to the translation and purport. If you see, translation and purport both are contradictory. Right? In one translation, one is blaspheming, other one it is glorifying. See, like in our day-to-day sadhana, Srila Prabhupada introduced very nice system, like Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, right? Daily reading Bhagavatam. And everybody will read in the temple, every temple we read Bhagavatam, we try to understand. So in this what we do, each one person will think in a different direction and perspective, and he will speak. Like not everybody will have the same kind of message. So from the way they are not speculating, they will read various sources like various acharyas, other devotees, and they will try to give the information on the Bhagavad Gita verse. They will explain the verse. So we will get different meanings of the verse from the different people. So if we keep on reading the same verse from the different perspective, different sources, then what will happen? Our knowledge will increase. We will get more knowledge. And as our knowledge increases, we get more taste towards the spiritual literature, Krishna, as well as we try to read more and more. So as a result, what will happen? You will increase, your attraction towards Krishna increases, your attraction towards this Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita increases, your faith also. As you keep on listening multiple sources, your faith will increase, your conviction also increases. So as a result, byproduct is that when you do continuously this kind of Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, there is another byproduct it will come. It's renunciation. When you read, see, our mind is always active. If your mind it will always engage on one thing. When you engage your mind on spiritual, when you start getting attraction towards spirituality, Krishna and the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, you start losing taste on material things. So that is the Vairagya will come by default. So the verse which I remember is in the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, chapter 2, second, text 7. Like the Vasudeva Bhagavati, Bhakti Yoga, Prayojita, Janayat Ashu Vairagyam, Jnanam Chayat Ahetukam. By rendering devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. So this is the advantage of reading Bhagavatam every day, and if we try to understand from the different sources, our faith increases, our knowledge increases, and finally we progress in our spiritual journey by losing taste for material thing. If you try to renounce something and you try to, it won't work. We need a higher objective, like to focus on, then we can lose focus on lower things. So now the next thing, we heard that Srimad Bhagavatam always glorifies Krishna and his devotees. Now, in this verse, what you see, the verse is not glorifying. If you see the translation, the Hiranyaksha is blaspheming the Krishna, right? So, but we always see, because the Srimad Bhagavatam was written by Vyasadeva when he is spiritually matured state, right? So, but still we are seeing it's not glorification. We are not seeing the glorification, but we are seeing there's a blasphemy. How we can understand this? Like Bhagavatam always glorifies Krishna, but in most of the cases you understand directly. In some cases you will see indirectly, because if you see who is Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu they are Jaya Vijayas. They are great devotees of the Lord Vishnu. So when they came due to curse from the Vor Kumaras, they came onto the earth planet and they took the demonic form, but still they have that's why in this verse, if you see from the Sridhar Swami comments, one way directly they are, as part of the role, he's a demon, he has to challenge Vishnu, he's blaspheming. But at the same time, he was a devotee in the Vaikuntha. So he was indirectly, he was glorifying. Though to blasphemy, he used some words. But without his knowledge, without his intention, those words have different meaning that will glorify Krishna. So that is what. So the direct glory, it is not direct glorification; it is the indirect glorification. So we will see. Try to understand those words, some of the words, and we'll try to see some references from the scriptures, how it is, what is the meaning. Okay. If you see the verse, first word, I will take from the first this verse. There are two words which we have taken from previous verse. That is Naragochara and Mruga, Vanagochara and Mruga. But first I will focus on the words from this verse, and then we will move on to the other words from the previous verse. Okay. So Ajna, in general, Ajna means, it's in the purport it is mentioned, fool, ignorant, right? He doesn't know anything. So the word, that is a direct straight meaning. Other meaning, Sridhar Swami mentioning, Ajna, if you split the word, Jna means knowledge, means nothing, no. No knowledge means, here it is mentioning that no knowledge. So, no knowledge is there which Krishna doesn't know. So that is the meaning. So if you see the Bhagavad Gita verse 15.15, what is that? Sarvasya chaham hrudi sannivishto matta smritirjnanam apuhanam cha vedesha sarvar aham eva vedo vedanta tud veda with eva chaham. So what this verse Bhagavad Gita Krishna is saying, I am seated in everyone's heart. I am the compiler of Vedas. I am the source of Vedas. So he is the knower of everything. So in this case, how we can, and that's what Sridhar Swami commenting, there is no knowledge in the universe which he doesn't know. That is also we understand from Bhagavad Gita 15.5. It's same. Krishna is the source of all Vedas, creator of the Vedas. He is seated in everyone's heart and he understands what you are thinking. Right? He knows everything. At least we know, in our case, we are not like that. We don't know all the things. We know few things. We don't know many things. Right? But in case of Vishnu, he is the knower of everything. The next one is Na Swasti Yasyai. If you see how the Prabhupada translated was word to one meaning in the Na Swasti Yasya, Na not, Swasti well-being, Yasyai, you will go. So, what he is trying to say, if you take this earth, direct meaning, if you take this earth, it will not be good for you, I will hurt you. Means, because what Vishnu was doing, he got the earth from the water and he was, then that is the time where Hiranyaksha approached Vishnu. So he was saying that, if you are taking the earth in my presence, I will not leave you like that. I am going to hurt you and I will take back earth from you. That is what the direct meaning. But what Sridhar Swami was saying, so unless you kindly take this earth from our custody, there can be no good fortune for us. So that was the implied meaning of this word. And mame ikshati, while I am saying in my presence, that is the meaning. So how this implied meaning is, in spite of my presence, you are completely able to take away the earth. So the first, if you connect two words, Na Swasti Ashyasi and Mamekshati, if you see, first thing is saying, in the direct meaning, in my presence, if you take, I will hurt you. But here, what he is saying, unless you kindly take this earth, even though I am present, if you don't take it, it will be inauspicious for us. So, kindly take this earth. That is the indirect meaning. That is what the Sridhar Swami mentioning in this. And Suradama, here in the meaning, if you see the difference in that word to word meaning, Prabhupada mentioned Suradama, O lowest of the demigods. But if you see the translation first word, O best of the demigods. So, this is the direct meaning. In the one meaning is the lowest among the demigods. We can understand, there is a verse actually in Bhagavad Gita, I recollect, I wanted to recite this. That we can understand the meaning. It is in the 10th chapter, 2nd text. Name vidu suragana prabhavamna maharshaya aham adirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvasha. So in this verse, what it is mentioning, neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin. For in every respect, I am the source of the demigods and sages. So, Hiranyaksha is saying, you are the lowest among the demigods. In Bhagavad Gita, we heard that he is the source of the demigods. So, Suradama means the source of the demigods. That is the implied meaning of the Krishna. So, he is clearly straight away rejecting the meaning of Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha is the ignorant. He is with the pride. He is not able to understand anything. So, he is saying that Suradama is the lowest among, but he is the Prabhupada and the Sridhar Swami. From the Bhagavad Gita also we can understand he is the source of all the demigods. So that's why we can understand Suradama is the source of the demigods. Vanagochara means animals of the forest. Other meaning is a person lying on the water. So who is that lying on the water? Any Vishnu. So on the causal ocean he will be lying on a water, right? So he is glorifying, is referring to Vishnu. Vishnu is Krishna, again is an incarnation of Krishna. So here also indirectly glorifying Vishnu. So, and Mruga means animal, beast. But another meaning is supreme personality sought after great sages. Right? So the one meaning is Mruga means animal, beast, and other meaning is supreme personality sought after by great sages. Many great people, pious men, look for Krishna. So we have a verse in Chaturvida Bhajante Mam, Jana Sukritu Arjuna, Artho Jignasir Arthati, Jnana Bharasasabha. There are four kind of meaning that we understand. We understand the four kind of people, right, who always look for Krishna. Who are those? Four pious men render devotional service unto me. The distressed, the desire for wealth, inquisitive, who is searching for knowledge of absolute. There are various people who are looking for Vishnu. The sages, pious people, many people will look for Vishnu and Krishna to understand. So, in this case, Mruga means animal, but other meaning is many people look for Krishna. So, in overall, the translation which was mentioned is, if you take this earth, I will fight with you, I will hurt you. You cannot take in my presence. But in the same implied meaning of Sridhara Swami is, oh, in my presence, if you don't take this earth, it will be inauspicious for us. So please take this earth. That is the indirect glorification of Vishnu by Hiranyaksha. Now, the final message, what we can understand. So there are many things where unintentionally we do. Right? So, like Ajamil's pastime, if you see, he called his son Narayan. When Yamadutas were coming to take his body, the soul, then he called Narayan. Then what happened? The Vishnu Dutas came and protected him from the Yamadutas. Intentionally he didn't call Narayan, but unintentionally he called Narayan. But with unintentional call, he got the result. See. So in this case also, finally Hiranyaksha was killed by Vishnu and he was liberated. So same way, whatever is the unintentional, we also do many times chanting. Sometimes we will not have a focus, but sometimes we try to do attentively. But even though, like we have a fire, if fire is there, if you put your hand knowingly or unknowingly, you will have a same effect. Similarly, poison is there. Whether you know or you don't, without knowing you take, it will have the same effect. The same effect is with the holy name. Whether you have unknowingly, you chant. See the case of Ajamila. Without his in proper intention, he is not calling his Lord Vishnu, but he is calling his son Narayana. But he got But if you see attentively, if you chant daily 16 rounds or more, you cannot imagine the effect of holy name. So that is what we have to understand. We have to chant the holy name. We should try to chant the holy name attentively. So that is one of the messages we can understand. Though here same thing, unintentionally few things we will recite, but it will have an effect on it. So we should not ignore those unintentional things. We should try. First thing is try to focus, attentively chant holy name, but unintentionally, if you are not focusing, inattentively if you are doing also, it will have an effect. We should not take that as a main thing, but we should always try to do attentively. So this is what today's thing. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
So just coming on these words you talked about, why did actually Prabhupada translate it like in word to word meanings? One thing, translation, was he actually basing his translation on the commentary of Srila Swami?
Yes.
The inline meaning?
Yes.
For example, Sura, right? Lowest of the demigods.
Yeah.
And translated as the best of the demigods.
Yeah.
So was he actually trying to take the purport of Srila Swami as translating the translation?
See, Prabhu, okay. So as I mentioned in the middle of the discussion, so each verse will have a different meanings, right? Different interpretations from the various authoritative sources, right? So when we try to, that's what here we can see the analogy. So there are multiple meanings of the same verse. So that's where Prabhupada, first in the translation he mentioned in the blaspheming, because if you see the context, the Hiranyakashipu is fighting, right? He's about to start. So there he gave the actual literal meaning. But at the same time, the indirect meaning is there, this glorification. So that's why he segregated. Actual context he mentioned in the translation, and the actual meaning, the implied meaning, he has mentioned in the purport.
And the word Mriga, I'm trying to understand. In the previous book I mentioned as beast.
Yeah.
And here, Srila Prabhupada's commentary, I'm trying to understand is, says that the Supreme Personality is sought after by great sages, saintly persons, and transcendent.
Yeah.
So, how do we understand that that's completely different? I mean, there is like a beast, and what is the relation between...
So Prabhu, it's a different meaning of Mruga. That's what he is there highlighting. The meaning of Mruga is one is beast, but other meaning implied and indirect meaning is the people are sages, great people who are looking for Vishnu, who are trying to approach Vishnu, who is trying to realize Vishnu. So that is the meaning. Thank you.
Yeah, he actually, it's very interesting. In the translation, he mentioned that Hiranyaksha is saying that this earth is entrusted to us, the inhabitants of the lower regions. So was he actually classifying himself that he's actually from the lower regions? And who actually entrusted him? When did he get the chance?
Okay, so even I was thinking the same when I was reading that verse. My understanding was, see, like Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu are trying to conquer all, but they are attacking on all the planets and they are trying to acquire the complete universe. They are controlling the universe. So their understanding is, see, our meaning is control. A creator means Vishnu. But his understanding may be at the demigod level, Brahma and Indra. Since they got it from they defeated all the demigods and they got the universe, maybe that is what my understanding. Prabhu, you can...
Actually, here he's actually talking about Bhumandala, right?
Yeah.
So he has a seventh planetary system. He's already taken it and sunk it under. So now he's claiming
Okay.
for that. Look, it's no longer the seventh planetary system, it's below. Anything below is ours, so give it to us.
Okay.
But this is dumped in
The water, submerged, yeah. Okay. Thanks.
like same you can see in this world also. Some country will occupy the territory of the other country and they cite that as a precedence. 50 years from then, and they will actually say this is ours. He started from India.
So the encouragement.
He took waters in Bhumandala, took it to his level, and he's saying this is ours.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Beautiful class. Just to play devil's advocate, here we are saying that the same direct meaning, we are giving different indirect meaning. But in some places we say we have to study Bhagavad Gita as it is. We should not interpret, we should take the instructions as it is. So one may question, here we are not consistent with how we are presenting ourselves. On one hand
So, Prabhu, so again, one is the direct meaning. Yes, Prabhupada mentioned in Bhagavad Gita as it is, we have to take the direct meaning. Here also, our acharyas giving their commentary, right? So, when we are trying to take the multiple meanings, so each word will have multiple meanings. When we try to see, one is direct meaning, and other option here is Sridhar Swami, is the acharyas. He is taking that commentary, means it is also as it is authorized. That is.
I'm saying plain words.
Yeah, fine, Prabhu.
Let's say I come from my own background, I have my own acharya. My acharya going to do this differently. So why should I get your acharyas?
See, this is our.
I'm also following my acharya. He has given us a different
Yeah. So because, okay, so we know that there are 4 bona fide sampradayas. Whatever acharyas coming in those 4 successions, we can believe that. But if the acharya is bona fide sampradaya, we can ask the source and evidence, then we can go for that.
Because if we go with this approach, then our argument that we should take everything as it is goes out of the window.
So, but see, Sridhar Swami is also, we can say, see, as it is means what that we need to understand. As it is, it's not the literal meaning, but it will be contextual meaning as well.
Krishna says, Manmana Bhava, Prabhupada says, here Krishna is saying like a mom. Namam Vishnuta Mamada. So we should not think anything beyond. Mom means mind, me, Krishna is saying. So you don't need to separate his body from him. We don't need to worry about whether Krishna has got form or not. Mom gave a person to me. Krishna is saying surrender unto me in some instances. So there we place emphasis to actually say we have to take that as it is. Somebody may argue like that too.
Yeah. So the direct meaning. When we, okay, so here the main purpose is we are trying to understand, I will go with the contextual base. So in the contextual base, you can go with the direct meaning. But we are trying to understand the inner meaning. That is where we go with the purport. So, yeah, the contextual meaning is blaspheming it, is criticizing. That is a direct meaning. But what we are trying to understand, as a devotee and in the path of devotional, we are trying to understand the inner meanings, because each word will have multiple meanings where we can understand different. So it's a different meaning we are trying to understand. We are not finally saying that this is the final, the purport is not the same thing Hiranyaksha is trying to convey. Hiranyaksha message is clear, but unintentionally here these words will have a different meaning. That is what we are trying to understand. Is that? Yeah. So, but we cannot do any additional. We have to just follow the Acharya's commentary. We cannot make our own things. That's my understanding. But we should not make our own conclusion or speculation. Yeah. But okay, yeah. So, but my understanding is, yes, you read multiple, like as I mentioned earlier, we will hear same verse from different contexts, right? But our ultimate aim is to grow our bhakti. So, take the one which helps you to grow in your bhakti. That's my, right? So, all are correct. All acharyas are giving the commentary, right? So, everything is correct. But which one is suited for your to progress in your bhakti? So, take that. That will be.
So say that this is on the strength of the knowledge of the Sanskrit, or it is actually their understanding, even though, as you rightly mentioned, Hiranyaksha is trying to blaspheme the Lord in ignorance mode. But Sridhar Swami beautifully actually, translated, giving the implied meaning, as you said. So can we actually say that this is the beauty of the Sanskrit, or the person trying to interpret in different ways?
I would say both. Because the power is, the Sanskrit is having that ability and potency to give multiple meanings. And at the same time, people, even if it has a meaning, people should be there to interpret it rightly in the right time, in the right context, right? We should have both that knowledge and ability to interpret it in a right way and the right context. Otherwise, we will not be using all this. If you have 64 meanings there, but if you apply in incorrect context, it will go there, it will give a different message, and it will, right? So both required. I think it's the power of the Sanskrit as well as our devotees' interpretation. Yes. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.